Woo! Well, hey there, hounds. My goodness, took a 2 week break and glad you are still here. Yolanda, oh, you get a gold star, my friend. All right. Well, happy July, right? What happened to Christmas in July? Is this still a thing? Ask somebody call Super Mom and ask her. She knows every day. She knows Redneck Day, Groundhog's Day, Ribbons and Bows Day. All right. So I am so thrilled to be back. And this conversation is special to me. I love the conversations where I get to be a student sharing along the journey. And I got a couple guides here with me today. You all know them, Deborah Jackson and April Wyatt, right? And this is the problem. Like high performers are really often recognized for how much they can handle, how tough they can be, how much they can juggle, all of this. And it's good. It's good for business. We appreciate it. But there comes a point, all right, and we don't talk about this enough. There comes a point when capacity really becomes the reason that everybody keeps handing you more, right? And I don't care how tough you are, there's a weight limit. Even the world's strongest man has a limit. So tonight we're going to ask one simple question. What are you carrying while you're building? And I'm going to be honest, I'm carrying a whole lot this week. So this is a good time because we're not here to trauma bond or anything else. We're here to be open, human, and help each other, push each other up, share wisdom that we've learned along the way, right? And that's the whole point. And that brings me to something else that we know, which is here, folks, think about this. No one's going to jump on LinkedIn or enter a networking room or a Zoom call or publicly anywhere announce, hey, you know what? I'm scared, frustrated, ashamed, right? I'm waking up at night. I'm worried about money, business, whatever. Could be personal issues. And I'm not sure what to do next. I wish someone would help me. You know what? They're not going to do that. You know what they are doing, though? The next best thing? They're telling me, they're telling some other trusted person. And then they go, oh, wow, let me help you with that. Let me be there. Let me support you and let me connect you with someone who will also support you, not just try to sell you something random. And that's what we're going to be talking about in my lens, all right, tonight. So welcome to High Performers Under Pressure, when more becomes too much. And let's get honest, it does. So let me give a quick shout out before I bring these amazing ladies in. First of all, Julie Johnson with Integrate Trauma Informed Network. Julie does a lot of good work with helping healthcare companies really make messaging and organizations and their website and marketing spotless, right? Connect with people because that's who they serve. But Integrate also is an organization that creates more human-centered nervous system aware systems and experiences. And also, Dr. Christopher Colombo, right, with Functional Mentoring. This guy's a unicorn, right? And the short version is he helps leaders navigate pressure, communication, and complex transitions with greater clarity and resilience. He is a rock star and really a lifesaver when it comes to healthcare professionals and really getting more effective in this complex system. And last but not least, Redneck Connector Podcast. We're having real conversations, folks. So I'm going to have it on the ticker down there. This is not, hey, if you want to be involved in listening to and in absorbing practical advice, things that you can absolutely take with you and apply and amplify your business, live with more harmony and get more clarity, this one's for you. I just chopped it up with Jason McNamara. All right, this guy's amazing. CIA, military, become financially independent at 39 years old, regular working class guy. And that's what he helps people do. People who just hate the 9 to 5 and they don't know how to transition. Let's get real. If you try it on your own, you waste time, money. It's a mess. So Jason is a great guide. We had one of the most realest conversations that you'll see two masculine leaders have, in my opinion. So go chop that up. Go look at it. I just loaded it a couple days ago on YouTube. And that's it. If there's anything that resonates, a guest, a thought, you just feel like, hey, this room, this belongs to me. I feel like I resonate. Can't put my finger on why. Then DM me. All right, most of y'all watching on LinkedIn, DM me. I'll put it in the comments on YouTube and other platforms. And here's what I want you to DM me. DM me this. Hey, Mike, you said DM me. DM you. That's it. You don't have to know what to say because I'm going to ask you some questions to figure out what's going on, what conversation that you may have, what opportunity might be worth exploring, and then I'll put you in that lane. Is that fair? That's it, because I don't want to be talking about something you may not need. That's just it, because I don't want to do it either. So we're here to serve. Chop it up in the comments. This is the right room. Ask questions, get to know each other, no pitch slapping, and let's get to it. So we're going to run the intro. Look, April is my guest today, y'all. So I just walked in thinking she's just going to push buttons, and she's like, I ain't signed up for that today. Yeah, that's a strong woman right there. It's leadership. All right, so I'm going to click the button, April.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right. Well, since you're all in the button pushing mood, April Wyatt, go ahead and bring y'all up. Bring up Deborah, Divinely Deborah Jackson, and April Wyatt. You are just a barrel of monkeys. How are you, April?
Oh, this is fun. This is fun. This is what we're here to do, right? If you're not living life without fun, then what are you doing?
That's what I ask myself far too often. But see, being around you all, it becomes habit. Jason mentioned that. I talked about the podcast. He says, listen, if you spend your 6 months about a bunch of crackheads, I bet you'll start smoking crack. He said, if you spend the time around a bunch of billionaires, I bet you'll learn a thing or two about that too. Hey, this is proof, y'all. So welcome. Love to see you. Linda. Oh my goodness, Linda's in the comments. Christy and Yolanda was there saying, why y'all here yet? So ladies, love you. Love the fact that you're here. Please contribute. Hey, ask questions, share your experiences. We're going to put this out, make some shorts of it so more folks can be inspired and quite honestly, stop feeling like they're defective. Come on, we got to break that. So ladies, here's how I want to start this. Us three did not come together through any advertising, cold outreach. That's that right off the spot. All about relationships that were formed through podcasts, mutual friends, right? The right room, trusted colleagues, shared experiences, conversations, informal ones, and all of that. And that is part of the proof behind the topic tonight, right? So I tell you what, before I get all in, there might be some folks now and later that don't know you somehow, some way. So April, give us the elevator pitch. Who are you? What do you do for folks?
Well, I really enjoy supporting people and just bringing them back to themselves. In this day and age, there's so many distractions out there, and we feel it. We feel the heaviness, the tensions in our body. Our body is constantly communicating to us. So I guide people to lean in and listen and to recognize the patterns that are being held in the body. And with that awareness, then you can make a better choice of how you want to approach that. So that's what I do as a somatic performance coach. And I just really appreciate everybody that's here and this amazing conversation that we're going to have here.
Absolutely. Deborah. Oh my goodness, my friend. I will tell them in a minute, so stay tuned. I will tell you all before the second half is up how we met. It's funny. I'm just going to tell the story. You can cringe. But Deborah, I'm so glad that I had met you. It's been a good journey, my friend. So tell the folks, in a nutshell, who you are, what you do.
Well, I am just so thrilled to be here. And Mike, honestly, I don't know where you end and I begin and how we met. I can't even put my finger on it. But my reason for being here is to light up souls and support them in becoming the best version of themselves. And my journey as a business coach and a business entrepreneur has shape-shifted over the years. And the cornerstone of all I do now, this is what I've learned, is that the cornerstone of everything that we do pivots around our nervous system. And so my whole brand has become about supporting people and recognizing what's going on in their nervous system and how I can support them in getting back to their true north so that they can be the best version of themselves, show up, go up, scale a business, support other people in their respective careers. So, yes.
And you do that, and you have the patience of a saint. Let me tell you, listen, if this lady was just trying to come in and get me to do something, boy, seriously, you have the patience and the forethought and the insight. It's miraculous. And you folks, you'll see it. I won't just sit here and sing praises. I'll try to be cool. It's authentic because I kept thinking, wow, what a patient person. not because she needed anything, because she saw alignment, she saw the potential. And sometimes you got to be patient. Boy, I learned that the hard way. So, ladies, let me open up with a question. I want to get this. And folks, hey, if you got a question, we'll do our best to get to it. I know there's a lot of folks that are very familiar with this subject, so I would love for you to chime in, but don't feel pressured. And April, we'll start with you. When you hear the question, what are you carrying while you're building? What does that mean to you, right? Through the work you do with folks, and you've done a lot with me and the people you support.
Yeah, that question about what are you carrying while you're building? So I think a lot of people, the high-level professionals, believe that they can carry the whole load, that they have learned not to trust or just to put all the burden on themselves because it's easier than to ask for help or to involve other people, when actuality, that's really a burden. And it's weighing heavy on our nervous system. And so this shows up with restless, sleepless nights, maybe high anxiety, thinking, oh, this is just me multitasking. Well, guess what? We cannot multitask and really perform or be present in that moment. It cannot happen. So
Yeah.
when we understand that we don't have to carry everything, because how are you building, right? You're really building a house of cards there. That's what you're building. And it will collapse. And so that comes in with the illness, sickness, or just wondering why things are falling apart, why relationships, business and personal relationships are kind of, defaulting. So just being aware that you don't have to carry it all.
Yeah, and we'll get into the details, but for me, it was a slow burn, right? Like when you're sick, you're sick, you take action and things. But this is something you can just keep dismissing, and it's just, it's just one more. And especially when you're a country or you're around a lot of machismo, right? You're a farmer, or you got a lot of work to do. The straw that broke the camel's back, right? So Deborah, what is your take on this? So when we were talking about, hey, what are you carrying when you're building? What does that mean for you? Because you work with a lot of high-level people.
Yes, I see it in myself and I see it in others. And so the first person that I want to hold the mirror up is to myself. And I can talk about what I carry because I've been to the place where I've hit the brick wall with my nervous system and had a complete breakdown and had to take over a year to recuperate in 2014. And so I think once you're bitten by the snake, and you've healed and you've paid a big price for what you have carried and continue to carry, you show up even when you know that you're not in good shape. You're not, mentally fit. You're not emotionally fit. I can remember saying at one point in my career, I was showing up in meetings, leading meetings thinking, I'm sure that people can see there's holes in my soul the size of Texas. Because when we're carrying, we don't have the capacity. And so therefore, we're not able to access what we need to access in order to best serve the person or people on the other side of the table. And so what people are carrying is, I don't need to repeat what April said, but that's part of what people are carrying. And they feel that if they drop any of the things that they carry, that they're not going to be able to hold on to what they've built. And in actual fact, when we're operating in stress and survival mode, we're not able to impact other people. We don't have the capacity or the ability to communicate at a high level. And we definitely are not leading to our full capacity, and we will fall short in scaling our businesses.
Oh, absolutely. And from my side, ladies, what I see often happens after the public intro, right? I'll get an introduction, I'll meet somebody here in the live stream, networking, whatever, right? And then they look completely fine, right? They look fine, they're saying the things. I'm like, oh, wow. And I was this person too. So that's how I can see it. But later, once the trust develops, right? Once real context comes out, guess where that conversation goes? That's when the better conversations, the realness and that kind of weight, and they open up. And the short version we'll tackle in a little bit is because I open up. I can see it a mile away. You ever, folks, in the comments, if you ever bought a car and then you saw that car every day going where you went, it's the same thing, right? So when you overcome this yourself, when when you're like, oh my goodness, this is a thing, I can get stronger. When someone shows up dysregulated and upheaval, even though that mask is covering it, you see it. You're like, that I wore the same mask here. So we're not judging. We're just saying it's a remarkable thing from my point of view to be able to sit down with somebody who will dump something out 5 minutes into our conversation that they can't even tell their best friend. And that's the side benefit in life, business, and just harmony in general. So this is not goofiness. This has actually become one of the biggest plays, because if I see somebody who I can sense a pain in, I just start relating to that, not as a tactic. Oh no, yeah, don't do that. They'll see you, and I hope they do see you, because that's flattery and fake. But we're talking about, hey, something's going on there. And you know how daggum rare that is? It's so rare when someone can go, hey, how you doing? Yeah, and relate to them. So we'll get into it in a second. I'm skipping ahead. But April, here's the bottom line. We want to get a little bit into it because it does creep up on you. And a lot of us are taught, and hustle culture is a thing. There's a place for it sometimes. I don't have a problem with it personally. But it does creep up on you. And then the house of cards falls down and you're wondering what happened. And you got to backtrack maybe years or decades of this. So on that note, they keep functioning because they can, right? You're like, well, if you're overloaded, why do you do it? Because you can. So what happens when someone's ability to hide to perform, they hide the fact that their internal capacity is being depleted? First of all, do they hide it, or are they usually unaware of it? What do you think?
I think it's the latter, what you just said. They're unaware of it. They're so used to this pattern. So just as Deborah shared about her own challenge in life, with me, I call it the little red hen syndrome. So I would tell everyone I'm the little red hen because I would get things done. I stopped asking for help because when I was growing up, there was not that support for me. I had to do everything. And so I just learned. I learned it's better just to not say anything and do, and then perform. But out of that performance, then I wouldn't pause and really appreciate myself either. So in the story, the little red hen, at the end, she sits down and eats the bread. Well, I never sat down to eat the bread. I would just figuratively, symbolically, take the bread out of the oven and then turn to the next thing. What needs to be done now? And so that keeps us on that hamster wheel, that keeps us going, that keeps our nervous system on. And with that, it really is detrimental to us. And also needing to change that, it's just that pattern, that understanding, as I talked about before, how this was a learned behavior, how we learn to maybe achieve something and yet still feel kind of depleted. You get the certificate, you get the diploma, you get the job, you have the house, you have the car and all that, yet still feeling that you have to fill it with something else instead of pausing and appreciating what we have. And that's that struggle. Right? So acknowledging, finding gratitude, appreciating what you have can then slow down that I have to be on. I have to have that constant going, and not be the little red hen.
Yeah. And I want to follow up on that, but I've noticed in my own self that that's a choice. It really is. Like, it's not even real. I got to do this. Who said? right? Like the house isn't on fire. That would be like a necessity to get out. But this is something that we manufacture, and it's not our fault. We never taught this stuff. We watched other people, right? Parents and coworkers. So there's a lot of empathy here, right? So I want to ask this follow up, and I want Deborah to chime in because she knows. And folks, I'm feeling this way this week. It is a very challenging week for me. But instead of grinding again, I guess who I called? Called April and Deborah and said, I'm not feeling all right. I don't want to go to the snake, right? I'm close enough. And that's what it means. And I don't say that to like, oh, look at Mike. I mean that because if I can do it and say it out loud, why not try it? Why not experiment with it? What's the alternative? Burning yourself to a crisp and thinking you suck worse? Stop the spiral, right? So, and these ladies were like, thank God they were the opposite. I said, oh, they're going to judge me, because that's what we think subconsciously. I know better, but that they were like, wow, good job. And so before we get into how to recover and get better systems for this, what are some of the early signs that, that sustained pressure is becoming a pattern? So if somebody's listening to this right now, they're like, oh, that could be me. I might want to be aware of that, April.
Me or Deborah?
I want to go with you because then Deborah can chime in with all of it because she knows
Yes.
the head knowledge and the experience in herself and others.
Yeah, those patterns. So I was waiting for Deborah's, like I was anticipating Deborah's answer. So you were asking about the patterns.
So we're going to go You want to go Deborah first?
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
care. Deborah. Look.
Yes. So this is a fabulous question because I think that this is a question that relates to a lot of people on the planet. I always say if you have a brain and a nervous system, at some point throughout the day, you're dysregulated. And how that shows up for you is in your decision-making power. So if you're used to being able to make decisions that are good for you, change your mind often, and you're not finding peace in your decisions, then you're making decisions that could actually cost you time, health, and money. Your communication skills, you're not showing up fully embodying who you be and how you show up and what your message is. You're not clear. You are all over the place because your nervous system is not able to light. It's not safe within your own body. Your focus and your follow through. I think that's really important. How you focus, how you hold space for other people. I think that one of the important things or the antidotes to this, because there's a list of them, emotional responses. I think that is something that, how we respond emotionally. Are we responding from an empowered, high EQ space, or are we reactive, guns a-blazing, and we are not making any sense? We're over rationalizing. I mean, there's just so many things. We are so tired that we go through a process where we cannot find our way back out into how we want to show up. We see ourselves as someone who is competent and confident, and we know we make impact. But at that moment in time when we are so dysregulated, we're showing signs of being completely frayed and dismantled. I think that those are really important hallmarks. I think that real tired piece is something that a lot of people will relate to, because that is something that is very prevalent when someone has reached the end of their nervous system capacity. You're easily everything that you do seems insurmountable, even if it's a little thing like cooking a meal or eating a meal. So
yeah. Oh, real quick, because that was gold. Because I want to move on to the, hey, what do we do about it part, right? But before I do, what you said there, it was enlightening. Jimmy Carr came, I like to watch him and comedians, and, he came on there and he said, I forgot exactly how he put it, but he said the hardware. He says everybody's, stressed and depressed. He said maybe it's not a software issue. Maybe it's a hardware issue. If you were getting 8 hours of sleep, right? You were eating well, you were taking care of yourself, and then maybe this wouldn't be so bad. And I'm sitting there going, man, if I only listened to that advice 4 or 5 years, 40 years ago, that might have helped. So this is my take, and I want you ladies to cap it off, or April, if you would. I always viewed when people said, be healthy, do this, regulate, learn this, blah, blah. I said, oh, shit, that's one more thing to do. Like, that's the point. I already have too much to do. And then I realized, no. This is the foundation. This is like gas in the car, for Pete's sake. This is you doing this. And then I did it. A couple months ago, I did it. I said, you know what? I'm just going to play guitar. The stupidest decision I thought at the time. I was like, nope, I need to take a time out. I am not in the mood to be doing anything. And guess what? I just kept that pattern. And I realized Marcus Aurelius did it when Rome was going all to hell in a handbasket. And it encouraged me. I seen Curtis, I seen you all. And guess what? I actually did better. And then I slid back. And I went, what's going wrong? You ain't taking care of you, Goofy. And so, okay. So I did it again. I said, you know what? I'm going to go take a rest. I'm going to listen to this new app. And it works. And I don't brag. I'm just saying I know what y'all are thinking because I did it too. Get off of that carousel. So here's my question, because I do have one. Real quick, is it common, and how can we catch ourselves? Or is it that's just it? Just stop and ask yourself, do you just think that wellness and well-being and self-care and putting you first, do you think that's one more thing? Do you see this in your clients? Did you see it in yourself?
All the time. All the time.
Not
And
just me.
even in myself, just even before this call, I was on breathwork sessions with clients back to back, and then I had a Zoom call and I had something else. And my mind, I caught my mind saying, one more thing I have to do. And I said, no, this is something that I get to do, something that I'm excited to do. And I did. I paused and I took just 5 minutes for myself. And I bought some beautiful incense from Kyoto when I did the Tomo tour. And so I lit that. I took some breaths. I listened to some music. Just alone helps to reset our nervous system.
Mhm.
And that shifts from that sympathetic nervous system of the go, gotta go, keep going, to the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest. It breaks that loop and we feel it. And also it really is shaping our brain too. It's creating new neural pathways. And that way our brain says, oh, that's right, that felt good. But it's the drop in the bucket. It's the practice. We can read about all the things. We can watch YouTube videos till the sun goes down, but it's really the applied practice and experience that brings us back to ourselves. And that's what I talk about in my recalibration experience that I have going on. Deborah is very familiar with it. And it's just bringing that awareness first and foremost, like you said, Mike. That's what we need. We need the awareness. Oh, I'm in that loop again. I'm in this pattern. How can I just make a choice to pause, slow it down a little, or redirect to something that feels better?
Okay.
And that's all that is feeling better. And I think that answers Jennifer's question, right? She said, this need for productivity and advancement sometimes make us forget, but we also need to stop and enjoy the moment. What would be a good way to slow down and enjoy the moment? Any suggestions? So yes, just giving that pause, even asking, where's my feet right now? Where is my breath? Can I see, a tree or whatever it is, distracting away from that mental constant going. That's how we redirect it back to ourselves and our bodies respond.
Look at that. That was brilliant. Thank you, Jennifer, because that's exactly what I wanted to segue on to Deborah. Because I might get in trouble, so what? But I just had this thought. I said, going to most business people for productivity systems and time blocking and all that, that's like going to my mechanic for a heart issue. This is what I want to debunk. Because, Deborah, this is what I've noticed, and a lot of people have. So they try to solve exhaustion and these issues with another productivity system. What actually helps someone recover into clarity and rebuild capacity? What have you noticed?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm a living, breathing example of that. What rebuilds capacity is self-care, self-regulation. Being starts with awareness, turning the mirror back on ourselves, being willing to step back and go through the process of what it takes in order to rebuild that elastic. So for me, it is aligning with people like April, doing breath work, uh, studying more about what it is that I'm all about, learning, diving deep into it, asking myself better questions, self propelling questions. Why am I feeling this way today? What is it that I could do to take care of myself in this moment so that I could show up and be in my best form this evening? Case in point, this afternoon, I have a compromised immune system. So this afternoon, I set time aside so that I could be here and be fully available and be the best version of myself for this live tonight. I did not want to show up here representing the Hounds of Business and my business and who I be and be out of sync with who I am. And so there's lots of things you can do. We have a list of protocols that we could actually share with anyone that would be curious and interested. You could reach out to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it. I do it. Seriously. And we're going to get to the funny part. So share it, like, subscribe, all that stuff. YouTube viewers, do it because you're about to hear something funny and honest. But you know what? I did it too. Y'all are a good example. I used to have bad examples. I used to have bad influence. Y'all are good influence. Today, I've resisted the temptation to just keep going and make it happen. One more thing. And me and the little kitty just sat there and listened to an app. And we'll be giving you all this app stuff here soon. We got links to it. And I just did it. And I was like, wow. See, if I would have stayed there and tried to get one more thing done, oh, man, nobody would want to watch this show, And I got way more done taking that 30 minutes. And then I realized a long time ago, and I'm practicing it, Michael Phelps didn't train like an animal before he won 17 gold medals. What did he do? Calculated rest and recalibration, right? Mm-hmm. So if these kind of super pros, Curtis Rivers, right? Hollywood stuntman. I mean, this guy set on fire like every day, falling out of a helicopter. You don't think he rests? Look at his post, y'all. Go to Curtis Rivers, shameless plug. He's over there meditating, holding flowers, right? Then he's over there blowing stuff up on a set. Think about that. If he's doing it, it made me go, why the hell am I not doing this? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm doing things that don't make sense. To me, it's like pouring sugar in the gas tank and wondering why it doesn't work. That'd be dumb. And so it was, not dumb if you don't know about it. But once you know about it, you really need to struggle and work through it. And that's where your lady's support came in so heavy. We're going to talk about that because trusted relationships is the only reason I'm probably not, worse off, way worse off. And I don't mean that as an exaggeratory at all. So I want to follow up on this a little bit, but I do want to get into the relationships because that is the key. There's so many programs and stuff out there. It's overload. It's noisy. Most of it seems not to work. But when you ladies say, hey, have you tried this? I pay attention immediately. And people around me do that. Billionaires do that. I mean, that's the trust factor. So before we move into that, April, anything you want to add? Because, I do want to know what's the difference between taking a break and actually recovering, or is there any difference?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I think a lot of people think taking a break, rest, that only gets you so far. It's really restoration. So, yes, taking a nap, giving yourself that self-care, but what are you doing? What are you focusing on when you're in that space? Because I see people all the time, they're at the gym and they're on their phone. they're at the spa or something getting, a manicure, pedicure, whatever. They're on their phone, and that's still mental stimulation. So I challenge people to leave that rectangular device in your car. You go to bed at night. I have a
I'm watching my viewer
kind of
counter.
personal. This is personal.
I thought I was gonna lose all my viewers.
There's no electronics in the bedroom. There's only two things you do in the bedroom. That's it. So no electronics, no TV, no phone, nothing there. Because that is still mental stimulation.
Yeah.
It is still active, a little buzz, a little something, it's going to distract us away. And so it's really important for us to really tune back into ourselves, because our bodies know how to heal. But sometimes if we've been so dysregulated, like Deborah had shared, with traumas, with work overload and all that, we do need a little extra support.
Yeah, I was looking at my counter when you said put away the little triangle phone. I thought, well, there's everybody's leaving now, right? And then when you said two things in the bedroom, I looked at Deborah and I said, yeah, she's wondering if I'm going to ask what those are. I'm grown. I'm good. But you're absolutely right. The hardest thing, folks, and I want to hear your feedback, please, if you're comfortable with it. Putting the phone, like not checking my phone in the morning. God, it just dawned on me. I don't do that anymore, because usually what's the difference? Why can't I have 30 minutes when I wake up early to enjoy my life, to get regulated, to be okay, to see a bird, to play a guitar, and jump in and deal with whatever? Maybe it's not a chaos. A lot of times there's a bunch of shit. Let's get real. We're high performers. We run businesses. We got hats. But let me tell you, if you're thinking, well, that's too hard, try it, experiment it. Because I really wish I'd done this a long time ago. Put the phone down, go get you coffee, right? Act like a little cave person, right? Enjoy your life like they did. And then jump into the mess of shit. That's it. I'm serious. Everybody that I've examined that I admire and works hard and does great things, take time off. And not just time off, playing on the phone. Time enjoying. Mm-hmm. And again, we're not preaching. I get it. It breaks my heart when I see people do this. And why would I want to go to the hospital and take a year of burnout like Jim Rome and Deborah was talking freely and openly about? Use their example. And I ain't going to go on and on, but I want to get some comments. I know the people here ain't shy. It was that. Why would I want to make a mistake that other people can help me prevent? I want to make new mistakes. I want to make uncharted territory mistakes. I don't want to keep repeating the same old damn mistake. And that's the key. And if you're regulated, guess what? You can solve problems better. You're clear. You're not affected. I had somebody push my buttons the other day. Here's the good news. Because of you ladies and I'm coachable, there wasn't no buttons. I was like, push away, dude. I got to go grab a sandwich. And I promise you, you know what? 2 people followed me out curious. I didn't have to say anything. That wasn't a sales pitch. They was, oh, that's attractive in life and business and everywhere else. So if you don't do it for any other reason, do it because it's going to help bring you value, and then you can give more to others. It's not selfish. I thought, oh, it's weak and selfish. It's actually goofy not to do it. It's like saying gravity doesn't work. Well, that's stupid, right? Put yourself back. So I want to go straight into it. The trusted relationships, because by God, that's the only reason we're all here and hanging out and building and pushing each other up, is it not? Right? So, oh my goodness. I met Deborah because it's Dr. CJ. Look at her, get nervous. No, and so CJ guards her territory, right? She doesn't do anything ridiculous. I just go with it. And one day she was up there and had a background. Here, but I pull it right here for y'all. Look. She was up here and she had this up, and I never seen her promote anything. And she was just talking and going on, and she's eating this little packet of stuff, and I'm going, what in the hell is happening right now? So, and I was curious. That's it. Think about that. I mean, there's not a lot of rednecks going, hey, is there any wellness products? No. But I was like, what is this? And she's a doctor of like 50 million things, right? Education and all this stuff, and she does research for a living. But the long story short was, it piqued my interest because I know people in this space, right? Trauma and all this other stuff. And I thought, well, that's very interesting. So I'll be honest, the short version, folks, is it took me, gosh, way too long. I would say about 8 months at least to stop trying to prove it wrong. Right. So I got my own samples, tried it, and I was like, oh, it didn't work. And you know how I knew it worked for me? It helped me function better. I was sleeping better. I felt a little bit better. And then I realized I felt like crap about a week later because I quit taking it. So my point is, that's why I love this, because there's no way, you know how many products are out there screaming online, all this shit, all this noise. But if somebody like CJ is doing something, boy, that took my, wow. And then guess what? Oh, you need to meet Deborah. And Deborah didn't go into some goofy sales pitch. Deborah built the relationship and had the patience of Jesus, in my opinion, to just be there. And that's what we're talking about, right? Deborah was calm. She was grounded. She was no sales. Hey, I know something that's beneficial for the right people. I'm patient with you. And y'all know me. I love that, right? So ladies, that's what I wanted to just open up. People try to do things alone. Why do you, first of all, in your experience personally and professionally working with others, why do you think, is it just human nature that are we ashamed of opening up about things like this, or, that we need help and support? Or what do you think, and what do you see yourself and others? Why do we resist doing this? And what is the power of doing it with someone else? Deborah, you want to go on this?
My gosh. Well, the first proverb that comes to mind for me is an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And, we have centrifugal force when we work together. And then I'll pull in Napoleon Hill. It's like, would you rather earn 100% of your own efforts? We're talking about your life force, you only have so much capacity, or if you support enough other people to get everything they want and help them level up, then you're going to succeed. So, that was a little bit of a crossover between Napoleon Hill and Mr. Oh my goodness, help me out. We know who we're talking about here anyway. He's an icon in business, but it's really simple. I think that people resist because they don't know. And the one variable that I look for in building relationships and aligning with others, besides values and shared vision and alignment, connection, is a personality that is open and malleable and curious to learn something new, that is willing to look at something that could potentially support them with a pain point in their lives and set them free. And so I guess that would be my skinny answer to your question, Mike.
Yeah, it's a great answer because it's always the real answer. But let me, before we go to April, because in April got all excited and I was like, oh my goodness, what in the hell is going on with this Bella Grace and who's Deborah? But here's the deal. And first of all, you can mix whoever you want. You see me mix Mr. Rogers and Marcus Aurelius like every other day. So we're good. It's been, you're recovering. You get that. But I'll tell you what, I don't normally care about perception of the folks that, I'm not aligned with. I mean, I'm just not people pleasing anymore. I do care about the people I serve, right? The folks who show up. But it did hit me because I was like, okay, I believe in what's going on here, right? I believe in the Bella Grace product. But I felt like, well, how many rednecks, like I said before, are going to go out here and talk about? I was afraid I would be perceived as just some dude trying to promote something. And that's why I was like, stop that. I'll talk about stuff freely because it works. I mean, I have country Cletus doing downward dog Pilates. Like, anything's possible if you believe. I mean, look, come on, right? So my point is, do us a favor. Since we brought this up, I mean, I have no problems. I mean, I unbox coffee mugs, anything that's beneficial and valuable to the right person. That's what business is for. It's ridiculous to pretend. But tell us what your experience is, in about a minute. How did you get here? And you've got a lot of impressive folks that, support you, that use this. That caught my attention too. I mean, I met Grace. Grace is a phenomenal professional mom, right? And, you know, in the way you ladies go about this is really top notch. You're just so classy with how you present this. So tell them, what is it? I think you earned it if that don't sound pompous. Tell them, what was your experience and what is this?
Well, at the end of the global staycation, I was actually actively seeking something to level my body up. I was cognitively declined. I was socially boxed in like the rest of the world, and I felt physical challenges within my own body. And so, in line with how the Hounds of Business works, I reached out to a trusted friend that I really respect on this planet, that I've studied with and know their family, and was looking to transition and was looking to see what kind of products she might know of out there that could be a blue ocean product that could support me with pivoting back into my career, which at the time was, I was working in executive coaching and mentoring. And she led me to this product, which led me to Grace, which led me to 3 to 7 days in a total physical, mental turnaround. And I couldn't actually even, I felt like I was on some kind of rocket fuel. Not that it was like a drink that animated me or pumped me up, but just that I felt like I had been anointed by the product. And at the time, I was looking at having double knee replacement, and within 7 days, I every type of discomfort that I was experiencing in my neck and my knees had diminished and now disappeared. And so 4 years later, I'm still using the product and I'm still singing it from the rooftop because I believe.
See, that's why I had you explain it, because I was going to say that's how I felt when I put the oil in the lawnmower and it quit rattling. Like we got to work on my delivery. But I'm going to pull a CJ. I'm just going to start eating it everywhere and see if anybody asks what the hell it is. Because again, there's good things out there and there's good people. And when the combination hits, good people with good things, I mean, that's business. That's why I'm not one of those guys that get mad at other methods of marketing. I don't care. I really don't. I really enjoy that other people care about my experience and journey, not just selling things, right? When I go to the grocery store, nobody calls me and asks me how the hell the shampoo was. I enjoy the fact that people care about my experience on things. That's just me. So anyway, April, how did you get pulled? You came in with CJ, because tell us that in, because I want people to understand.
I was on that initial call when Deborah, shared about this. And I need to say something too about, I decided to try it because I too was having knee challenges. And after, I think I reached out to Deborah after the 10 days, and it was like, oh my gosh, the inflammation was way down. I was feeling more energy, more vitality. And it was interesting to me. It's like, oh, this little packet of these natural ingredients, it's just amazing to me how that affected my system. And then also skin, nails, it's the collagen, it's all those things. It's just a wonderful product that I really enjoy myself. And so when it's like I'm a billboard, I don't even have to say anything about it. And people ask me, they notice about my appearance, about how I'm feeling. And so then I share about it then. I really don't have to sell anything. It's just using it and enjoying it.
I got to throw a disclaimer in here. Thank you. Because this is not about leveraging relationships and pissing off your friends and losing them. This is the opposite. Because when I found this out, then April was excited. And I thought, okay, there's a lot of smart people I respect. And then I brought it to other people because I wanted to show the science and people who knew more shit than I did. And I was like, hey, and then some of them, right? They end up go, oh, I want to try it. I'm like, holy cow. And that's what we're talking about. We're not just talking about the products. What we're saying is that's the trust method. I mean, there's too much noise. And then what happened? Instead of just talking about these things, then we went out there and started doing things together, podcasting and all this other stuff. So, and we'll give, hey, folks, we'll put this out there for you. We don't have the links ready. Then these ladies open up an app. Like, how many apps are out there? 8 gazillion. Most of them suck, right? And I'm like, oh my, see, I would not have the time. I would not have the benefit had I just seen a cold DM or a cold email. You ladies said, oh, you got to try this. And it took me, I'm a hard head. It took me, 3 or 4 days, week or something. But you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable. The other day, I was really at the end of the rope. I had a lot of unexpected things. Hey, it's okay to say I'm not perfect. We all go through it. And I knew it. I was like, I said something to April and she said, try it. Now my brain said, oh man, whatever. And I'm like, really? That's a winning attitude, Mike. Yeah, whatever. Like, yeah. And I did it. I turned it on and I was like, whatever. It worked. In fact, I did it before the show. I had a lot of things and I turned it on. And I think it made my cat regulate better. Seriously, I was like, she's sitting there with a frown, all happy and purring. And it made sense. And this shit would not have even been a thought, folks, if it wasn't for the relationship and authenticity. And that's why I said Deborah has the patience of a saint, because it took me way too long. But you don't give up on people when you know you have something good and it can help them. If I have the cure for cancer, I don't hide that. I share that. And now I'm not saying it's the cure for cancer. I'm saying it's the same mentality. So anything, ladies, do you want to chime in on the support and the trust transfer that builds from authentic support, not sales, not leverage? Hey, you can be a hardhead, Mike, and we're going to keep doing this, but eventually I figured it out. What do y'all want to share about this? Because this is useful. It doesn't work if you're being an asshat trying to manipulate people, but it sure does work if you're a good-hearted person that's trying to put words to who you are.
Well, I think you first have to use it yourself. It comes down to anything. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, like a lived experience of something. And then from that experience, just sharing about it.
Mm.
It's easy, it's effortless because I've done it and I believe in it in both things that we're talking about. And Mike, just to let you know, in the private chat, I did put a link in there if you want to open it up and then share screen, and then Deborah can talk about the app we're talking about, because this isn't just binaural beats. That's nice to listen to. It's something way different than that. It's science-based.
Yes.
Can you open it all the way?
It is open all the way. Now, all of a sudden, you can't push buttons? Oh, I see how you are. Okay. I'll let you slide on this one. It is open all the way. Oh, you mean the screenshot? Well, hell, you've been pushing my buttons over here. I forgot how to do it. Hang on. There, is that what you need?
Yes.
There you go. Go for it.
I don't know if Deborah can share a little bit more about this.
Yeah. So this is a app that I discovered through my own process and journey, because I seek out and curate offerings for wellness practitioners and entrepreneurs that are looking for blue ocean technology and science, things that have, research that is being used in NASA, in over 120 different countries. This company has been in the making for over 36 years, has been developed this technology by a neuroscientist, Blake Holloway. And this has been used in over 2.7 million surgical procedures without an anesthetic. It's being used by 79 different high professional athletes It's being used for everything from anxiety, mild anxiety, right up to PTSD. It's being used in cancer research stations by oncologists, dentists, just across the planet. It has actually been touted as the only nervous system regulation application or technology on the planet that actually does what it says it does, which is regulate the nervous system. You do not have to have capacity to do it. You simply have to have discipline to turn the program on, put the headphones on, or run it through your Bluetooth and be still. And this runs a program in your brain that frees up your vagus nerve, shuts down your executive functioning so that it creates new neurotransmitters in your brain. So basically, how you're feeling now, ask yourself how you'd like to feel different in some way, whatever that outcome is. We have a program for that. So if you want to get ignited and you want to show up and be able to share an animated space with somebody, and you're looking to just amp up your resources, or you're wanting to sleep, or you're wanting to repair, recover, you're wanting to go into 4 to 7 hertz in your brain and be in a complete healing situation where your body will do the healing, your brain will hold you in that space while that transpires. Over time, what happens with this application, consistent use creates new neuro pathways in your brain, which supports you with capacity. So before you know it, you're sleeping better. You're sleeping deeply restorative, not just sleep. There is an app in the middle of the afternoon. Say that you're going into a high-level meeting and you want to be your best possible version of yourself. You can do 20 minutes of either of these programs, and it's like you've had 2 hours of sleep. It's even being used in the Intercontinental Hotel in Japan.
What about the
So,
stress? That's probably the one I would recommend. I
yeah,
got the sleep and stress,
yeah.
and the stress wouldn't work. Then I tried one of the sleeps, I didn't like it, and I tried another one, I did like it. So, or it didn't sit. That it's got a ton of stuff on it. But yeah, we'll
Mhm.
be posting this. Don't worry, we'll be putting shorts. We'll be sending out the links. Everybody can get their hands on it.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I mean.
Mike,
Go
could
ahead.
I say one more thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So how I see this fitting into all of our lives, and I wrote this down because I think it's so important. I'm just going to pull it up. Our nervous system precedes us. When we show up for a meeting, what do we meet first? We don't meet the person. We meet their nervous system. So how is your nervous system showing up for you? Because that's the first thing that people meet when they meet you. And so we see this as part of a microcosm of what we do. It's a tool that you can hand out to your clients, your patients, and utilize yourself to keep yourself regulated so that you can be all that you want to be out there in the world. And you can do it daily. It gives you the ability to be proactive with your own mental health on the spot.
Yeah, that's excitement you're seeing. That's genuine because it helped me. Seriously, I've been all over the show if it wasn't for that app today. And I'm not just saying that. I was like, that actually worked. I mean, I could have took a nap, and I was really full throttle before this. So thank you. All right. So ladies, we'll put where you want people to follow you. And after you answer the question, please share. So answer this last question. April, we'll start with you, and then share with them where they can go to meet with you, or they can go to just to check stuff out because they're not ready to talk yet. Whatever, we're good. So yeah, we know how that works. Sorry, what is one way someone can notice sustained pressure before it turns into reaction? What's one way you can go, uh-oh?
Yeah, that sustained pressure, just noticing where your body's holding the pressure. So first pausing and check in, you're already feeling the tightness in the back of your head, maybe, or maybe it's the clenched jaw, or the tightness in your chest, not being able to breathe fully. That's your body communicating to you. And so your body gives you those signals. And that is very important to lean into that. So that way you can respond in an easier space instead of letting it, tighten up and then be like the, explosion that we do not want. So easing that pressure.
Every time you speak, I have something. I'm like, should I say this? And how do I say this in the nice way? But when somebody first of all, I say this with all kind of love and endearment. I love the folks, but I hung out with some hippies with bongos and a ukulele. And I've realized that it was not malarkey at all, right? That your body is telling you stuff before your brain can even sense it. Like your body can, and they were proving this. I was sitting there and they're like, hey, where do you feel this? And I felt my chest tighten every time something came up in I thought, oh my goodness. I mean, we don't do that. You don't see this in the country. I mean, let's get real. So I'm over here like, wow, I might as well saw a space alien at this point, right? And it was really interesting. So I thank you for sharing that, because if you just stop and be calm and put the little rectangle away, yeah, it can be scary because we're so distracted. But hey, it's not rocket science, right? Sometimes you could just go, that's interesting. And so Deborah, let's go to you, my friend. One practical step someone can take this week to support recovery or start thinking clear.
Well, I say it starts with a checkup from the neck up. So I would say that when we get that inner dialogue and it's not creating the world that we want to live in, that we learn to shift our thoughts. We learn to let go of the executive functioning that's trying to run our show. We learn to put ourselves in a more regulated state, and whatever that is for you. I don't want to keep talking about this app, but this app has been instrumental in supporting me and feeling like I'm living in my body again. I love the skin I'm in. I feel that I'm making sense, because when we're dysregulated, you just have to look at somebody in sports. How do they win in sports? They don't go on the field dysregulated. If they are, they're not performing at their peak performance. And so, these are things that we need to get a hold of before we put ourselves in play. For instance, this afternoon, I had an appointment this afternoon with a very high-level business coach that has a massive global brand. And I asked for the grace of to pivot forward in the week, because I did not want to show up and not be the best version of myself, that I could support her in fully having access to all that I am, so that I could serve her in all that she does. Yep. So that was a cue. I pivoted. So listening to your inner voice.
Yeah. And listen, if somebody's out there knowing, why is the king of pitch slapping going on it? Because it ain't pitch slapping. He's excited. It works. It worked today. Like, I wouldn't even want to be on my own show if I didn't have that and support and people, so all we're saying is this: there are people, support, resources everywhere. Yes, it's hard to figure out what's actually good for you and who's just trying to make a dollar. That's why community matters. That's why you going out there, using discernment, making a few mistakes, try not to make them expensive and longevity, but listen to other people, right? That's the whole point. And here's my question. I'm going to ask myself, I'm going to do the corniest thing y'all seen. It's been 2 weeks. So you be all right. Hey, Mike, what is one of the, all right, here's my question. One conversation or relationship that can strengthen, that should strengthen before looking for another tactic. In other words, what can I do to build a relationship or strike up a conversation? Here's my advice. If you just want, how do I get this kind of momentum going? How do I use this in my life and business? Attract good friends, good people, good clients, good partners. Stop trying. Yeah, I swear that I did all of this work and research just to come to the conclusion, don't try. And that don't mean do nothing and not. Here's what I mean. When I've really, that active listening shit that used to make me mad, always my best friend. because I'm already ready for a response. I don't have to think for what to say as they're talking anymore. What I'm looking for is anything in them that I can relate to, anything that I can resonate with. What are they saying? How are they saying it? If I see somebody standing there staring at something, reminiscing, hey, that's curious. And if I say that to them, holy shit, wow. And I did this on accident at a party the other day. I said, you seem to be one of the most self-aware people. I said, you must have a hell of a story behind that. She lost her stuff. That was not flattery. That was the truth. Because how do I know that? Because I'm the similar way. That's my relationship. That's everything. That's my advice to you. Seriously listen to somebody and watch their facial expression when you're the first person in probably 10 damn years who actually held space. Deborah, thank you for doing that for me. April, you've been doing that since, well, Moby Dick was a minute, as we say in the South. No, that's not a bad thing. And gosh, you ladies, thank you for what you do, who you are, what you do, all the things you got. Go to livingwithintention.co. Go connect with Deborah Jackson on LinkedIn. They got kindness meditations, all kind of fun stuff. And I'm talking, hey, they're connectors. They are master connectors. Everybody's a connector nowadays. These two, by osmosis. They don't call themselves connectors. But boy, they know some people. I'm not going to spill the beans, but thank you, ladies, for the introductions. I appreciate that. And hey, last shameless plug, I don't care. Hey, the Hounds, DM me. Hey, you said DM me, Mike. Well, I don't know what to say. That's it. Take that baby step. All right. If we don't have something for you, send you somewhere else. You have an impact to make. You ain't gonna make that shit without people, resources, support, and guidance. That's what we want for you. If it's us, fantastic. If it's someone else, that's where you go. All right. Let's go make the world a better place. No more talk, more do. All right. Love you guys. Have good. Thank you for the comments. And did I miss a comment? Nope. Yolanda. My goodness, Yolanda.
I know. She's a rock star tonight. If we had a prize to give out, Yolanda.
Yolanda, I'm going to DM you, my friend. DM me. If you DM me on LinkedIn, if you don't mind, right after we close here. I want to send you something. I do. I appreciate you, the way you show up and champion. And I want to make sure it's worth your while before I do. DM me, my friend. All right. Let's close. You want to push the button? Will you push it?
Be well, everyone.
Be good. Regulate. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.